Good evening. Good evening to the humans of Earth. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's feeling good. I hope everybody's taking care of themselves. If you're pushing yourself too hard, make sure that you get some rest. It's important. We're going to get things started up. Spaceship got fueled up early tonight. This is my channel, Sovereign Starseed. My friends call me Seth. You can call me Sav, Silky, anything that you want. It doesn't matter. We like to bring you cryptocurrency news every night at 5 o'clock Universal. And we're accelerating Earth's awakening process by doing so. So, we'll go ahead and get on with some crypto news. Heidi, thank you for joining and getting on board the spaceship already. Appreciate you. Ray of Sunshine's already up in here. There we go. Everything's looking good. Cool. All right. Yeah, so as it is, guys, let's just go ahead and get into a few things. So, every night before we do the cryptocurrency news, I just want to say a couple of things that I'm grateful for, because I feel that that's very good to end up just bringing into all of our interactions is gratitude, a good feeling of gratitude. So I'll just say tonight I'm grateful for the ability to be able to search other news sites around the world still. I'm grateful that I'm able to end up getting into news sites that are outside of the U.S., so that way I can make sure that I'm not just getting U.S. news for you guys, for the show, for that stuff. I'm also grateful, really grateful, that I have a working car. I was just thinking about that earlier today, and about how, if I didn't take care of things a little while ago, then I wouldn't have a car to be able to transport me from one place to another. And I wanted to make sure that I don't take that transportation for granted. And I know that there are other people, there's lots of people out there that don't have vehicles for themselves and on their own, and I just wanted to make sure that I feel grateful for that, because at any time I may not have one, and that's okay too. So with that, just wanted to go ahead and say a couple of things that I'm grateful for, and then I'm going to go ahead and get into the news. So let's see what we got for news tonight. Bring it up on the dashboard. What do we got, Spaceship? All right. So first, Bloomberg.com has put out an article on December 21st, and I just now came across it, but I feel that it's important for us to see. And it says that Goldman is setting up a cryptocurrency trading desk. So it says the business may be running by the end of June, two people say, and CEO Blankfein has said the firm is mulling a Bitcoin strategy. At least one of Wall Street's biggest firms is growing more comfortable with cryptocurrencies. Goldman Sachs is setting up a trading desk to make markets in digital currencies such as Bitcoin, according to people with knowledge of the strategy. The bank aims to get the business running by the end of June, if not earlier, two of the people said. Another said it's still trying to work out security issues as well as how it would hold or custody the assets. The move positions Goldman Sachs to become the first large Wall Street firm to make markets in cryptocurrencies, whose wild price swings and surging values have captured the public's imagination but given pause to established institutions. So anyways, just wanted you guys to see that there is that, they are still trying to work out how they're going to hold or custody these assets. And it seems to me that, they're just trying to have a lot of meetings right now on, okay, how exactly do we hold these things? Because honestly, these things are going to be in such high demand in the future that we're going to have to figure out something to be able to hold on to these, and as well as give our customers the confidence to know that they can invest with us and we actually have Bitcoin that we can prove and show them at any given time. So yeah, just wanted to end up bringing that up there for you guys. Goldman Sachs getting in on the game. Also want you guys to know that Goldman Sachs is one of the biggest investors in with Coinbase as well. So they definitely are trying to end up like pretty much making sure that they have a good secure foothold in this cryptocurrency market going forward. So yeah, next, Cointelegraph put out an article today that says President Maduro, Venezuela to issue first 100 million Petros. So this is actually pretty important for us, guys. Venezuelan President Maduro has ordered the issuance of the first 100 million Petros, an oil-backed national cryptocurrency. He also indicated that each Petro would have the value of a single barrel of oil, he said. I've ordered the issue of 100 million Petros based on national wealth. Each Petro will have the value of a barrel of Venezuela's oil. The first national meeting of petro miners will occur on January 14th, along with the publication of the white paper. The announcement is in line with the previous statements from Maduro that the country would issue an oil-backed cryptocurrency. The country's massive hyperinflation problems have led to widespread lack of trust in the national currency, the bolivar. This has caused much of the population with access to appropriate technology to pursue Bitcoin as a means of stable transactions, called Bitcoinization by some economists. Other countries, including Zimbabwe, have also seen widespread Bitcoin adoption in the face of financial instability. So I think this is beautiful. I think this is excellent. And so if each petro is now going to be backed by oil, and holding each petro is guaranteeing that you can find a barrel of oil in Venezuela to match it, is definitely some excellent stuff right there. So, hey, that's pretty cool. So yes, as this is right now, I just wanted you guys to end up seeing that, so that that way you can see that each petro that's going to come out is going to end up being worth about the price of a barrel of oil. So it's not going to be something in just the pennies. It's not going to be just a few dollars. So it is going to come out. It's going to be an expensive crypto. However, I feel as though that this is something that absolutely has some value, and I'll be looking into it myself. So excellent, excellent that this is happening. Oh, another thing that I wanted to let you guys know as well is that there was another article that came out, and I couldn't find the link because I don't know why, just internet interwebs things. But there was an article that came out that said that President Maduro was also going ahead and accepting applications for petro mining. And as soon as he started to open up applications for petro mining, over 830,000 people applied immediately. So you have over 750,000 people already about that mining, already about trying to get set up to establish the network that the petro transactions will be verified on. And that is as well something that I want you guys to know, just so that that way if you're thinking about buying in, that's something else to help you with your decision. So next, Cointelegraph.com is putting out an article that says, study, 22% of Bitcoin investors used borrowed money for trading, and it's not recommended. So according to LendEDU, a personal loan research firm, more than 18% of Bitcoin investors have used borrowed money to trade the cryptocurrency. In a global survey of 672 active Bitcoin investors, researchers asked traders the method they used to fund their cryptocurrency trading accounts. The majority of investors used banking systems such as credit cards and ACH transfers to fund their accounts. But 22% of traders revealed that they have not paid off their credit and debit cards after purchasing Bitcoin, effectively investing in the cryptocurrency with borrowed money. The report read, quote, the wisest and most frugal way to fund a virtual currency exchange account would be through an ACH transfer, which is completely free of charge. Only 18.6% of our 672 Bitcoin invested respondents were paying for the cryptocurrency in this fashion. However, this was not even the most pressing concern coming from the LendEDU poll. That recognition belongs to the data point. 22.13% of Bitcoin investors did not pay off their credit card balance after purchasing Bitcoin. So, exaggerated generalization. What I can end up saying is that lately Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, revealed that it has been adding more than 250,000 active users every 24 hours. and were forced to stop adding new users temporarily as a result. Coinbase and Bitstamp have also been adding more than 100,000 users every day, and at the time of reporting, Coinbase has close to 20 million customers. So in early December, Bitstamp co-founder and CEO says, quote, please understand that we currently have over 100,000 new accounts open daily. It is challenging to cope with such surge. We are expecting our capacity to onboard clients faster, but this takes a bit of time. So I want you guys to see that what's happening there is the reason why this article is saying all of this is so that you can see that even if you're trying to take out money to as a loan to try to invest in something like this, that, you know, it could take time for you to even set up and open your account to the exchange on which you want to trade. And what this is trying to say, and what I want you guys to see as well, is that, you know, everybody makes their own decisions. And I would say do not invest money that you're not comfortable with losing, and make sure that, you know, if you're borrowing money, that you're only doing it very, very securely and you've absolutely researched your decisions. Because if you borrow money and then you're able to pay off the loan pretty fast that you took out, then it wouldn't end up hurting you. And I think that's the reason why a lot of these people did this. And I'll say myself that I've had you know, I've definitely had the revelation that converting fiat to BTC is absolutely one of the smartest ways to get into the game. But what I also will say is that I'm not investing any money that I'm not comfortable with losing, even if it is a loan or anything like that. So just make sure that, you know, if you're watching this channel, make sure that you're only investing in the things that you're comfortable with losing, because it will end up being a debt that could soon come back to get you. And I will say that, you know, if I had borrowed money and put any money into USI Tech, like I've seen other people do on the internet, there would be a problem right there, you know, because now USI Tech has pulled out of the US and Canada. And because of that, you know, that's something that if you had borrowed money and put into a company like that, you would not be able to get your money back right now until you're able to actually leave the US. And you don't get to go to Canada, so you'd have to go somewhere else in order to continue your contract with USI Tech. So because of that, I just want you guys to see that, and so that you can know that, you know, over a fifth of the people surveyed have borrowed money to get into Bitcoin. So because of that, you know, just make your decisions wisely, everybody. That's all that I have to say with that. So next in Bitcoin news, it says regulatory whack-a-mole. Coindesk.com put out an article that says regulatory whack-a-mole won't beat cryptocurrency sanctions evasion. So what this is about is that it says everyone saw this coming. The New York Times reports that both the Russian and Venezuelan governments are trying to evade U.S. sanctions by creating new state-sponsored cryptocurrencies that can avoid U.S. jurisdiction. Of course they are. That's what rogue actors do. I would just say that's what people that are sovereign do. They don't try to evade any jurisdictions just to avoid it. They just are trying to create cryptocurrencies or trying to create areas so that their commerce can thrive. And the US jurisdiction has like law books that are like so thick and so big and so freaking wide that it's so hard for people to comprehend it all, that it's easier to end up finding a way to create a new technology that has no regulating governmental body or anything like that in order to facilitate what you need to do with your country. And that's basically what I see is what's going on with this. And it says, there's a cliche called death by 1,000 cuts. It says, acknowledge the reality. In trying to resolve each specific problem only after it arises, eventually there are just too many wounds and the patient dies. If the US government just tries to go after each problematic example of crypto on an ad hoc basis, that's exactly what will happen. Just like the war on drugs has been a complete and utter failure and it'll never get ahead of the problem, that presents opportunity. It's not a time to play whack-a-mole. It's time to recognize that crypto is real and here to stay. And this article says it's time to start forming sensible regulations to help govern the sector broadly and wisely. And what I would say is that that is part of the mindset that's, that is thinking that there aren't strong people on this planet. There aren't people that are sovereign and can do things for themselves. So this is usually of the mindset that says, like, we need to form regulations because we need to protect people from terrorism and from money laundering and all of that stuff. So because of that, what I have to say is that, everybody in this new space has already been feeling the effects of how you're on your own a lot of the times. You're not able to go to any government or anybody to be able to get your Bitcoins back. And in the beginning, it is a harsh reality for a lot of people to accept, but I want to ask, anybody that's watching this to end up seeing that, this I feel is really a reality that I think that we almost should have been in this whole time. And I think that if we would have had cryptocurrencies the whole time that, like we had, instead of having like centralized banks, then I think that, our evolution and our progress could be a lot further than it is right now. Hindsight's always 2020, so I'm not going to try to hang on that. But I will say is that, if we are trying to go into new aspects of living and living in a new paradigm where we have new technologies, as well as we're now getting further in history and we've used so much of the planet that now a lot of the resources are starting to get, they're starting to have fights over the resources, that I think that, going forward in this paradigm, people being able to educate themselves and regulate themselves would remove the need for such regulations externally. And I think that's kind of where, the point of all this is going. And if I was to end up, really looking into Satoshi's heart and seeing what the intentions of this person or this group of people were, it feels to me like in the end it's that central banks were given the room to be created because people didn't want to keep track of their own funds. They didn't want to be able to do their own bookkeeping. They didn't want to have to store all of their funds on their own in their gold in their house. They thought it would be safer to store it outside of their own property and with someone else. And when all these people started to get the same idea and say, hey, I'm just storing all my gold over there in the center of town, and now I'm getting these little notes that say how much gold I have, it's a lot easier than having to carry this gold around everywhere. Well, everybody started doing that, and central banks were born. So because of that, guys, I'm just trying to get the point across that before those days, we had self-regulation. We had people that were okay with wanting to just take care of their own gold and trade their own gold between each other. And I feel, with the research that I've done, is that if we were to end up doing this again, then we would end up being able to end up removing that need for central banks naturally, organically, and in a way that involves no blood, it involves no wars, it involves no weapons, it involves no violence. And it's just a way for us to really educate ourselves, which is really all that I've been wanting. And that's really all that this whole channel, the whole goal of all this is about. So with that, guys, I just wanted you guys to see that, because here you're going to end up seeing two different types of mindsets. One mindset where you're going to actually, you'll probably see lots of different mindsets, but they boil down to a few different perspectives. One of them is we need to protect other people from themselves, and that's usually going to come from people in places of power that are regulators, are protectors of countries, nations, things like that. And those people usually are going to be trying to say things like we need to protect people from themselves, so we need to regulate. Then you're also going to see, other people that have no idea about this, don't even care, and those are the people that have a lot to benefit from. They can see that, like, now going through all of this, that there's already now like widespread adoption. There's now a lot of people out there that are using these cryptocurrencies, and there's a lot of projects going on to help the planet move forward. And those people that don't know a lot about it now are going to benefit the most in the future, because they're just going to end up jumping right in as the foundations are already built for a lot of this stuff. So because of that, guys, I wanted it to be important for us to see that self-education is what's important, and trying to make sure that we are self-regulating. We can move forward with this, and I have absolute faith, and I know that we can definitely do this. We can move forward by self-educating, and that way we won't need to have broad and wide regulations governing us. That's how we free ourselves. So next, in the news, Cointelegraph.com is putting out an article that says exponential growth. Cryptocurrency exchanges are adding 100,000 plus users per day. And this is where I'm trying to say that, it's beautiful, because without there being a whole bunch of regulation on this, the adoption is starting to happen a whole bunch. Unexpected growth rate. Changpeng Zhao, sorry if I'm butchering this name, the founder and CEO of Binance, the global market's largest cryptocurrency exchange with a staggering 9.5 billion daily trading volume, revealed that it has added more than 250,000 users on a single day. Quote, "Sorry guys, servicing existing members is higher priority at this point. Full team working around the clock, both tech and support, just too much demand. Added 250,000 new users in the last 24 hours, said Zhao, referencing the official statement released by the company. So this is amazing. So I've already reported on it before, but because they're getting more than 250,000 people wanting to sign up with them, they are having to. So, quote, "We've made significant progress in the last week with the system upgrades and have realized moderate improvement in performance. Unfortunately, we're not able to complete all the upgrades, and the most impactful measures are yet to come. For the time being, systems should still be considered degraded and unreliable." So basically, this is something that he said is that they're trying to improve all of this month. But as that is right now, I love the fact that they're being transparent in saying this, as well as they have so much growth. So congratulations to Binance. I'm super glad that you guys are experiencing so much growth. And that brings me right into the next article of Cointelegraph.com. Put out another one that says Binance, Bitfinex, and Bittrex temporarily say no to new users. So with the surging price of cryptocurrencies, demand has reached the point where cryptocurrency exchanges are completely swamped. This massive influx of users has led to major infrastructure concerns, leading to the temporary closure of their registration portals. So throughout the last half of 2017, digital currency exchanges have posted record numbers of user sign up. Binance is at 250,000, Coinbase is at 100,000 plus, and Kraken is at 50,000 every day. So the incredible swelling of cryptocurrency users is overwhelming the infrastructure of many cryptocurrency exchanges, with some such as Kraken experiencing major usability problems throughout 2017. I don't even trade on Kraken anymore because it's just too hard to use. They even say that their systems are unreliable and they should not be considered usable right now. So that's honest, and I think that that's good that we're seeing that from them. So, we're seeing that there. And it says the exchange has responded by disabling some of its advanced order types, reducing price precision, and initiating a major system overhaul. Bittrex is one of the first exchange platforms that put a halt on onboarding new users back in December. An alert from this U.S.-based exchange reads, "We have received an enormous number of new account registrations over the past few weeks." In addition to Bittrex, two other platforms had to make a similar decision, Bitfinex and Binance. So basically, new signups to Bitfinex will be welcomed by a window stating that new account creation has been paused, and Bitfinex is not available to users in the U.S. anyways, so it's not something that you can end up signing up for. So as that is there. I just wanted you guys to see this because we're coming in, we're seeing some regulations happening where, there's some places they want to regulate, they want to stop having cryptocurrencies be there. But as you can see, over 250,000 people are signing up to one exchange alone. And we're seeing all kinds of other users signing up to the other exchanges. They could be a lot of the same users just trying to trade cryptocurrencies. And now these exchanges had no idea that they would be taking on this massive flood of customers. So continue to make sure that you follow this channel, subscribe, like, but turn on those post notifications so you know when I'm going live, because I'll probably be able to give you guys updates on when these exchanges will open back up to you so that you could trade on them as well. So just wanted to let you guys know that. And then finally, in crypto news tonight, I just wanted to show you our crypto resource. So Cointelegraph.com has put out an article that says crypto tax tips to start 2018 right. And so from this, it's just something that's good. These are just some good best practices to remember going forward. And it would just be good to have this as a best practice no matter what your decision is regarding the taxes and how you go forward with that. But these are some good ways just to make sure that no matter what way you go forward, you're prepared. So even though cryptocurrencies are getting more and more exposure, their legislation seems to be a gray area for most governments, especially when it comes to declaring your income in digital currencies. The IRS, the U.S. Tax Collection Agency, has issued Notice 2014-21 stating that Bitcoin and altcoins are subject to federal income and payroll taxes. So what do you do with your crypto money, and how do you declare your tax rights? Records. Let's start with the dreary subject of records. Yes, that applies to crypto investors too. You'd better have some if you're thinking about taxes. If you've ever tried to tell the IRS, I lost my receipt, you don't want to do it a second time. The IRS has heard every excuse in the book, but basically make sure that you guys are keeping good records. What I'll say as well is that on a lot of the exchanges have built-in functionality to where you can export a CSV file of your trade history. And a lot of times with that will end up being enough to give to qualified tax professionals that are specializing in cryptocurrency this year. So that's one way. It says selling some assets. If you're sitting on some big gains, might want to consider how your tax picture will look for the entire year. It isn't too soon to start thinking this way. In fact, try to do it long before year end so you can make adjustments. You might want to sell or hedge some, even if you think the market is still headed up. There is a lot more than taxes involved in such decisions, but it can be wise to at least think about it. For example, what if your tax year already has a big capital loss in it, or you have a big carryover loss from prior years? In general, unused capital losses can be used to absorb up $3,000 per year in ordinary income. So unless you have capital gains to offset your capital losses, that $3,000 would be the extent of your tax benefit. Some people sit for years and years with unused capital losses that carry over each year. So if you also have unrealized capital gains, you might consider selling some gain assets to be able to absorb your losses. Run some numbers and see how it looks. And there will probably be some apps and programs out there to help people for this. So I will be looking into that, and if I come across any, you already know I'm going to be sharing it with you. So what exactly are you selling? Another topic as tax time nears as to whether you really know what you are selling. That is, if you have 100 Bitcoins and you sell 10, which 10 did you sell? There is no perfect answer to this question. Most of the tax law considers shares of stock, not cryptocurrency. However, many advisors think that the same kind of rules should be applied in the case of multiple crypto assets that you hold. If so, specific identification of what you are selling, when you bought it, and for what purchase price is likely to be the cleanest, but that may not be possible. And so what they're trying to end up saying is that with this, when you buy Bitcoin, say you go into Coinbase and you buy we're rich in this example. Say you buy 2 Bitcoin, and then next week you go into Coinbase and you buy 2 more Bitcoin. The next week you buy 2 more Bitcoin. Then you buy 2 more and 2 more and 2 more. So you have about 15 or 20 Bitcoin. Then all of a sudden you want to go and sell 5 Bitcoin. Well, Did you sell the first 5 Bitcoin that you bought? Did you sell the middle 5 Bitcoin that you bought? Did you sell the last 5 Bitcoin that you bought? And that's really hard for governments and tax officials to try to figure out and define and to try to see how they're going to tax people on that going forward. So that's what a lot of the discussion is about right now. But, just want you guys watching this channel to be prepared for that. So that's just a good way of interpreting what this is. It says loans with interest and hedges. Loaning money shouldn't be a taxable event to either the borrower or the lender, except for interest payments. So can you loan out your cryptocurrency to people? You can, but the question is whether that loan will be treated the same as the loan of money by the IRS. So basically the IRS are the controllers. They're the ones that are making the rules. And it says the jury is still out on that question. The IRS says cryptocurrency is property for tax purposes. You don't want the loan and the repayment of different cryptocurrency to be treated as a taxable dispositions. Some of it may depend on your documents and how much you make it look and feel like a real loan. Hedges of cryptocurrency are another hot topic to consider. Hedges can help to avoid some of the volatility that has characterized the various crypto markets, but be careful that you are doing your best to avoid a disposition, meaning a sale for tax purposes that you don't want. So the holiday gifts. The holiday may be over, but probably everyone in your family would still like some Bitcoin or other crypto issues. The prices have been so ever present in the news that gifts and donations are still very much in the news. But is it smart tax-wise? A charitable contribution would be the best type of transfer. If you give to a qualified charity, you should get an income tax deduction for the full fair market value of the crypto. If you bought for $500 and donate to a 501c3 charity, when it is worth $15,000, you should get a $15,000 charitable contribution deduction. What's more, you won't have to pay the capital gain tax on the $14,500 spread. So, going to private parties is not as impressive. The same gift to your niece gets you no tax deduction, as it requires you to file a gift tax return since the gift is worth more than $15,000. For 2018, $15,000 is the amount of the so-called annual exclusion gifts you can give to any number of people each year with no reporting required. Any gifts over $15,000 require a gift tax return. Even though you probably won't pay any gift tax, you normally would use up a small portion of your lifetime exclusion from gift and estate tax. For 2018, that number just went up dramatically. The amount you can transfer tax-free during your life or on death just went up to 11.2 million per person. That's 22 million per married couple. 22.4 per married couple. So 1099 forms. We're almost through this. Let me just check the chat too. Cool. So Forms 1099, finally, don't forget about the coming onslaught of IRS Forms 1099. Normally, these not so fun little tax forms arrive around the end of January, reporting income paid to you in the previous calendar tax year. The IRS says that wages paid to employees using virtual currency are taxable, must be reported on a Form W-2, and are subject to federal income tax withholding and payroll taxes. Similarly, payments using virtual currency made to independent contractors are taxable to them, and payers who are engaged in business must issue Form 1099. A payment made using virtual currency is subject to Form 1099 reporting, just like any other payment made in property. That means if a person in business pays virtual currency worth $600 or more to an independent contractor for services, you got to file a Form 1099. If you're the recipient of a Form 1099, as most everyone is, keep track of them. Each one gets reported to the IRS and applicable state tax authorities. If you don't report or otherwise address the reported income on your tax return, you can expect that the IRS will follow up with you. This may seem confusing, but you shouldn't worry. The IRS is usually much more lenient to those who fill in taxes even with mistakes, rather than those who avoid doing it at all. So this is just the crypto resource that I have for us here tonight, guys, so that way you guys can end up taking this and trying to have some good practices going forward. Ultimately, what I would say is that I'm not a tax advisor. This is a tax advice, but if what I would be doing and what I will probably start doing is I will start to end up just exporting a lot of my trade information from the exchanges over to other places. Like I'll just wait until tax time and I'll export my trade information and I'll print it out and I'll bring it to a qualified tax advisor, save myself the headache, and then that way I'll be able to end up remaining, good on what I'm doing there. So from that, guys, I just want you guys to see that, and I also want you guys to end up looking into some of our previous streams to see other resources that I have been giving out, because there are other resources with other and alternative ways than this as well. So from that, I'm going to go ahead and transition out, because I absolutely thank you guys for joining the spaceship here tonight. And yeah, this has been fun. And we'll end up being back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock p.m. Mountain, 5 o'clock Universal for some more cryptocurrency news. And yeah, we'll probably end up doing a little bit of some more streaming later on. You guys, I just found out I can stream anime too. So I'm probably going to be streaming some anime at some point just to hang out and have some fun. Because, not every stream needs to be super serious. But it's great for us to know this, because there are a lot of people out there that are using these things. There are a lot of people out there that have used cryptocurrencies, and I just don't want anybody to, get in trouble. And, remaining safe is a good thing for this. So, yes, I appreciate you, Ray of Sunshine. You're welcome. And I'm glad that the info was helpful. I hope that helps you get some good best practices going forward. And anybody else that asks you about it because you tuned into this stream. So thank you guys. If you got value out of this, make sure that you share these make sure you tweet this, make sure you share it, make sure you get these streams out there to other people so that way they can end up having that benefit as well without you even needing to explain any of it. Because here we go. We just explained it. We got it out there. Another thing too is that if you've seen any streams in the past that you like, YouTube is always archiving these as well permanently, whereas some of the other sites, I don't know how long they take before they delete them, but YouTube is a permanent archive of these as well, so you can end up sharing these streams with somebody else, and it'll save you the conversation if you need to, and then after they watch it, you guys could talk about some of this stuff. But yeah, just wanted you guys to end up having this information out there. Really grateful that we're able to even get this information out to each other and having these types of platforms to do this on. And yeah, I'll just say, everybody that jumped onto the spaceship tonight, that's excellent. Love the fact that you guys do that. And tomorrow night we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow night we'll be back tomorrow with some more tomorrow night news, crypto news. So yeah, at 10 o'clock Mountain, 5 o'clock Universal. Make sure that you tune in. We'll be talking about some more stuff like this. Yeah, this is Salvador Starseed, guys, saying good night to the humans of Earth.